Good morning. Hello, welcome to Candid Talks, coming to you live from Southern California, connecting you to amazing entrepreneurs, offering you inspiration to help you thrive. Ready for a mindset reset? Are you struggling and having difficulties today? Feeling AOS, like anxious over stuff? Are you worried or afraid? Asking yourself, how did I get here? What am I doing wrong? Ugh. Are you feeling alone, unloved, or unhappy? Do you feel like you've worked so hard and nothing seems to work? I am Patti Maez, the Candid coach, creator of Spiritual Essentials for Business Success, a system that guides entrepreneurial women from trauma to thriving. And what do I mean from trauma to thriving? I mean that each of us has gone through some type of abuse, some type of trauma. Even when you bang your knee, that's considered trauma. So I don't measure the size of the trauma. I don't think of the trauma as good or bad, big or small. Hers is bigger, his is larger. He had worse than I did, and I had, la, 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 blah. We don't care about that. We care that you are thriving today. I care that you're thriving today. So, and if you're wanting support from other women, I have a heartblazers.com group online, and I offer laser focused coaching where you get in. I offer animal insight. You offer your issue. We get right down to the nitty gritty, and then we move forward and carry on. So my system seems to be hot, so I am going to plug in another little thing here. So I hope that I'm going live, and you guys will tell me what's happening here. Let me just plug some fans in so that I can cool off. Jennifer is on board today. She's in the studio. And Jennifer Matthews is our special guest today. And she has gone from dancer to thriving in her life as in the coaching industry. She created the Move Strong method, a training system that helps you get in touch with your body and gets you to move strong. Hint, move strong. Okay, so I'm going to bring her on board because my system is causing a pause on my end. I'm not sure what's happening on your end. So I'm going to call in Jennifer Matthews. Let's welcome Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, welcome.
Good morning. We're just too hot to handle this morning, aren't we?
I'm telling you, I'm not kidding you, folks. When our energies get together, we just go on fire and we just can't anyhow. So Jennifer, please share with the audience who you are, what brought you to Candid Talks, and tell us a little bit about your life, and then we're going to interact, and I'm going to leave you on site. Okay?
All right, that's a lot to start with, so you might need to back up and tell me the other three questions, because I remember the first one, which is why you're having me here today.
Introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself. So my name is Coach Jen Matthews, and I do say Coach Jen because I really live into what I do, insofar as, what you do doesn't make you who you are, and everything you do each day is a reflection. And so I'm Coach Jen. And I work with clients as a professional performance coach. But my first foray into performance, my original career is actually dance. So I was a professional dancer, and now, after years of, in the traditional sense, I failed out of that industry because I injured out of my sport at 18. And when I stopped dancing, I kind of everything sort of stopped. I stopped everything and everything stopped, and I got a bit lost. So I've spent the last 20 years doing everything from personal training. I've been a trainer for the last 20 years. Shout out to my fitness crew. And I've been a professional coach for over 10 years. I got to training through my own rehab from dance. I was in rehab for 4 years for all the injuries I had. And it's just slowly created a pathway. Most recently, I did a master's degree in transpersonal psychology, which I love. It is the psychological study of human potential and really where we can take ourselves, because we can always go much farther than we think. So I blend all of that experience, the performance, the creativity, the exercise science, the coaching, and the transpersonal psychology into this system. And that's really why, part of why we were here, is because I have some new stuff and I was excited to share it with you and tell you about it, and also share a bit of my story of how I got to being able to create the Move Strong method so that other people can launch themselves into life with what I always hope is less stress and more success. That's our goal.
Wow, I love it. Yes. What was that? Less stress, more success. I love that. So, Jennifer, thank you for sharing all your beautiful story, and also just how your journey kind of evolved. It sounded like a dance to me. I was sitting back here listening to how you evolved and how you continue to expand and grow not only your business but yourself.
Yeah.
And would you say that that is part of what helped you to sustain and maintain, to grow your business?
Yeah, I think in general that concept of flow, which everybody talks about, being in the flow, right? And so it's for me, it's been a function of following the flow. You know, when you're dancing, you're following the rhythm of the music. So that's kind of that masculine energy that gives you the structure that you create to. And then the movement itself is sort of that feminine energy that weaves in. So much of my story at this point has very much been, I have an experience and I go, well, that wasn't what I expected to happen. Now what am I supposed to do? And it's each time there's another layer of rebuilding. And in each layer of rebuilding, there's just more wisdom and experience that comes. And those pieces have combined together to really create the format and the structure of the work that I'm doing today.
Yeah, well, awesome. Okay, so now we have a couple of comments here that I'm going to go ahead and add some comments here. We have Thomas. Thomas says, good morning to all. And live indeed. And live indeed, I think he was talking about earlier. When I was
Thank you for the confirmation.
And live indeed also, because we want to stay in that live. And then he says, okay, he's here, that everything is okay on our side. Okay, terrific. So as we go through, as you know, we will probably go in and out as our guests show up. And I want to welcome our guests because it was kind of a wonky introduction, and that's okay. Everything flows. So we've got some guests. Jeremy Lasman is joining us today. Jeremy, join us in comments and questions if you have anything for Jennifer, as you know Jennifer well. Linda Sunshine West, thanks for joining us. Nancy, hey Nancy, thanks for stopping in and being with us today. And we also have Pauline Crawford Umps, who says, good morning, Jennifer Matthews and Patty Maez. Thank you. So, yes, you met Jennifer. Pauline met you, and Pauline met at one of the journal collage workshops a while back.
Yes.
So pretty awesome. So, okay, back to you, Jennifer. So, Jennifer, tell us a little bit more about your Move Strong method. How did you develop that? And you mentioned a little bit about that. Tell us why the Move Strong method, and where did that title come from? And where did that title come from, and how did you develop that?
Yeah, that's a really great question. You know, that's one that I don't think anyone's asked me yet. So I'm so grateful that you've asked it. Thank you. Mm-hmm. When I first got done with my introduction, you said, oh, it's, you know, things that you've been through sound like a dance. And so that sense of movement and just the sense of movement in general in life is wildly fundamental to me. I process in movement, I feel in movement, and outside of myself, when I work with clients, I find that movement is just a really powerful source of discovery for them as well. So movement is part of the natural function of the body. Like sitting is the new smoking, I'm sure you heard. So like we are designed to move. So it has that word personally, it's so many layers for me. It's movement from dance. It's movement as a fundamental human need. It's movement in terms of moving ourselves forward. And while there's nothing wrong with stillness, because actually stillness and balance, we think of them as stationary states, but they actually involve a lot of movement and response and reaction. So move comes from my dance background. It comes from my belief that movement is a fundamental human need and even a spiritual practice, some might say. And that movement generating a sense of movement within ourselves is one of the things that we actually all truly strive to do in this life. So that's where movement comes from. And strong, and actually you can see in the logo, you can put the, I don't know, we'll put the logo up somewhere. It's got orange and red. So the move is orange specifically because that's your soul. Can I go? Can I go? Sorry,
okay.
that was just
yeah.
fun.
Sorry, unfortunately, I'm not.
No, it's great. It's fun. I was like, oh, I can jump in and out. So the orange is for your solar plexus, right? Like that's your state of movement and breath and energy in your body. So there's a reason that that's even orange. And then strong really comes from believing that you can move from a strong foundation. And we'll talk about the graphic that you have up on the screen right now, but it's the 4 cornerstones of that basic foundation for performance. Performance being an experience or outcome that you want to create in any area of your life. If you don't have these 4 cornerstones set, your base isn't strong enough for you to then climb from. It's like a ladder that's got an uneven leg. It's going to fall over when you try to climb up and ascend. So move is about creating movement in yourself, fulfilling fundamental human needs. It's orange because of that place of empowerment. And strong is coming from that place of being based at the root. That's your root chakra, creating a really strong foundation, and then working to launch yourself from there.
Wow, pretty incredible. And Jennifer, you created this. I mean, I've known you for quite a while now, and I've watched you dance in and out of this process, and just having you develop these 4 cornerstones, I believe you called it. It's something that I have not seen. I mean, there's so many different techniques and methodologies and systems out there, and yours seems to, well, again, it's going to flow, right? It's the dance movement. And how, I'm going to put this up just one more second. I'll put that up again. So here you have Eat, Sleep, Move, Connect. This morning I was talking about on the live video announcing that we're coming on live at 9 a.m. And that is how we treat our body, right? Our body reacts and responds. Share a little bit about that based on your method, how the body reacts or responds.
Yeah. So the first thing that came to mind, and then if I navigate off your question, bring me back. But that you talked about ESMC.
It's okay, folks. We do this. We go in and out. And the best part is we come home. So go for it.
Yeah, like a bee.
Right.
Like a bee buzzing back to the hive. We will land. So scaffolding. Scaffolding, that's the word that came to mind. What I'm really in love with about part of the way I've developed this is it is scaffolding. So scaffolding is the thing that you throw up before you put the drywall and the doors and the windows, right? And without it, you can't actually build the building on top of it. So ESMC is about honoring and acknowledging the 4 parts of your human existence that need the most TLC. It is really the bare minimum that needs to be acknowledged and cared for. Now, here's the funny part. 5 o'clock news, every other Huffington Post, pick your source, you're going to see 1,000 ways to do these 4 things. And there's some very basic recommendations on how to get started in there. But at the end of the day, part of moving strong is designing the way that you move. Designing the way that you move. And the only way to design the way you move is for you to be able to experience your own movement, be able to be in your body, really have a conscious and intentional conversation, know your strengths and weaknesses, and be able to capitalize on those and use them as tools. And honestly, the only way, the way that I came to this approach that allows you to take other information and use it with the system, right? Take other theories and philosophies and practices and still use that scaffolding, like you get to build the building, but this is the basic bricks. And the only reason I was able to come to a system that can be so universally applied in a variety of ways is because I had to figure out how to have my own personal experience through some traumas that were part of my life experience, from physical and emotional, even sexual abuse at different points in my life. And then the trauma of chronic pain. If anyone has ever had like chronic, I mean, years at a time, it just wears away at your mind and your ability to stay present and conscious because you're in pain. And so slowly but surely, through a mix of coaching with a variety of coaches, including you and Mr. Jeremy Lastman, who's on the call with us, and Maeve Vu, just give her a shout out because she's been very helpful. Through coaching, through therapy, and also EMDR, which is a technique that's specific to helping with PTSD and kind of post-trauma memories and experiences, I've come to be able to actually feel what's happening inside my body. And that may sound kind of strange, like, what do you mean you can't feel what's happening inside your body? But when you've been through experiences that you'd rather not feel, it's a really common unconscious process to disembody, for your consciousness to leave while your body is going through something traumatic. And then that integration of bringing everything back together so that you know it's safe to be inside you. You know that it's safe to feel what's going on in your body. And you can do that without being overwhelmed, without feeling like the walls are crashed, kind of falling down in on you. It's all of that healing process that I went through that has spawned and really birthed the creation of the fundamentals as well as the system. There's an ABC system that's within Move Strong when you move past building your base. And it's my life experience that's gone into being able to create that.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the part about the body, leaving the body, being in the body, getting in touch. Do you remember a specific time when you experienced your body, when you, after developing and processing through all the coaches and all that process, do you remember specifically a time when you did feel your body? Or not necessarily the first time, and the first time, if you remember that.
I'd say I'm at the point where I can remember it on a spectrum. Like, I can remember feeling my spiritual body in terms of being able to see images in my mind's eye and have that kind of trickle in and fill in spaces of my body that I hadn't felt before. And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking about it. I always remember feeling my body in dance, because that was the place where the feeling, the permission was there to just really like live into that. One of my favorite quotes is dance is the only art where we in ourselves are the stuff from which it is made, which never gives credit to the music.
Love that.
But what it does is say, I am the magic maker. I am the movement maker, right? It's all within your body. So from dance to conscious awareness experiences, and becoming a mom, there's, oh my gosh, nothing puts you in your body.
That was next.
Yeah, you knew it was coming.
I'm glad you came in, because we must talk about Sebastian.
Like nothing.
And he shares a birthday with Thomas, so February, right?
Yeah, February 1st, my sweet boy. So nothing puts you in your body quite like having another human being, one, be built of you, because it's just strange when it's happening and you get used to it, of course. And two, you are the main thing that they react and respond to. So it just became heightenedly aware, and my child is a tuning fork. So if he needs to go this way and you go that way, he looks at you like, excuse me, I'm sorry, what? So children are always calling you back to what's going on with you. So being a mom, definitely huge in the body experience.
So tell us a little bit about how you balance that, your entrepreneurial business, your coaching, and now this new program that you have created and trademarked and registered and all of that. How do you balance that life with your child? And tell the audience, because there's a lot of moms that are listening to us today who are struggling with, how do I do that? I feel guilty. I feel shame. I feel embarrassed. And so share how you're doing it.
Oh, how am I doing it? That's a great.
Yeah, how are you doing it? Are you being in the doing, or are you just doing it?
I ask myself, you know what? Oh, you hit the nail on the head. Are you being in the doing, right? Are you being in the doing, or are you just doing it? And I can tell you that initially, this thing is, I keep getting, here's the dancer in me. I'm like, must be centered.
I know. Mine, I've given up.
I know. Like, let's be off center so I don't have to worry about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about being in the doing. So initially I was just doing. And initially when your child comes out, and no one tells you that parenthood is pretty much a giant experiment, that it's okay to not know what you're doing. And you might know what you're doing sometimes, and other times you're going to be like, I'm sorry, you want me to what? Because it's confusing and clarifying and opening and makes you want to curl up in a ball and cry sometimes all at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I know that initially I was just doing. And that is where the components of this Move Strong piece that I now work with parents. Like I have these two groups from my own life experience to work with. I work with athletes and I work with parents. And so on the parenting side, I was just doing. I was a single mom. I was living in a house by myself. I was working full time, and I had Sebastian. His dad left a little bit before he was born, and we were divorced within 90 days of his birth. Mm-hmm. So February, March, April, May. Yeah. So, and that's, all of that has come around to be good and supportive now. Like that traumatic event of divorce has shaken itself out, and I have a solidly, decent co-parenting relationship with his dad. But in the meantime, when I was a new mom, I just did and did and did. I mean, I did and did. I literally have notebooks of like the daily meal plan and how everything was being written out, like the time schedule of everything that happened. And that, I was like obsessive with the doing. And what happened was I did so much without getting to be there for me that I made myself sick. I ended up with panic disorder, panic syndrome, whatever you want to call it. I had panic attacks, which was the craziest thing because from here up, I was like, ching, ching-a-ling, as one of my clients used to say. I was like, right? And from here down,
right?
Yeah, like from here down, I was like chest pain, nausea, pain in my, I was like, I feel like I'm dying. So I had to completely reset my life in order to do the parenting thing well. And not everybody has to do this. Everybody goes through their own journey. But I left corporate America where I was making plenty of money. I moved in with family because I had started my graduate degree while my son was really young. So I was working, I added grad school to that, and then had my son by myself in this big house in Las Vegas. And I just tipped myself right over the edge. So I stopped, I reassessed, I got help. And you're like, how do you do this? I always ask for help. There's no way to do it alone. And that's one of my biggest hashtags and biggest mottos is please don't go it alone. Don't go it alone. You're not designed for it. It's awful and it will make you sick. So now I live near family, and I could live somewhere else and have more independence, but I have more comfort and I have more joy, and I just have I really have the life I always wanted to have, which is I work from home, which really helps me as a parent because there's laundry upstairs right now to be folded, but I'm running laundry, doing dishes. I had a pot of sauce in the crock pot all day yesterday while I was coaching. So it becomes less of a separation between work-life balance and more of an embracing of my whole life. And so that's how I do it. I say, you know what, this isn't separated. Everything I do in this life is my work. And that's why I go by Coach Jen, right? Like everything I do in this life is my work. I'm never not doing my work. And I don't think of it as work because I love it so much.
Yeah, and that's the best part. And I actually posted something this morning about work-life balance. There's this whole controversy about work-life balance. And as you and I agree that there's, it's being happy in living and being happy in working, and how do you balance that out? And it's how you describe it. You're working at home, you get to take your child to school, pick your child up, you get to do your laundry in between your clients, and you're doing it all from home, right? And so tell me how you see work-life balance, the definition of work-life balance, because some people say it doesn't exist, some people say it does.
Well, kind of back to the origin, I think that work-life balance begins in the body. It begins with being willing to notice the experience you're having. And this is one of the biggest things you ever do with a coach, whether it's me or Patti or anybody else. You get clear on the experience that you're actually having right now, how you're responding to it right now.
Like right now. It's right like not now. Yesterday, not in the past, like not in the future. We're having
everybody breathe. Everybody breathe, right? Now. And that's why coaching is really scary for people, because we're going to be like, no, you don't get to look over there. We're going to go like this.
Come back.
Like, no, come back.
Yeah.
And we're going to hold you there, not because we're trying to torture you, but because we love you and we know there's something you need to see and there's something you can learn from that.
Yes.
So I think if there's a battle between work-life balance, right, So there's body, there's balance, right? Can you write these words down so I don't have to remember them?
Sure.
There's body, there's balance, and then there's a chosen integration. So body is what's happening for me right now. Am I willing to see it? Am I willing to acknowledge? Because once you see what's happening, it's infused with all sorts of story and fear and emotional response. And none of that is bad. It just is what's happening. So there's working through that first. And working through that is a function of being willing to connect, right? Body and mind, to really openly communicate with each other, which in my experience then opens up intuition. Or if you're not an intuitive person naturally, it opens up clear thinking, whichever personality type you are. So when you're willing to see your current state of experience and acknowledge it and work with what it is, it opens up a higher level of, you could call it consciousness, or I call it awareness. Awareness is just the ability to know. And as you know more and your information set changes, so does your choice.
Right.
So we go from awareness to being to choice. And those are the ABCs of Move Strong. But that's the actual ABC that comes after the platform. And as far as my definition of work-life balance, it comes from me saying, what do I want to experience every day? What are the fundamental experiences in my life that I'm not willing to compromise on? And like you and I needed, here's a perfect example. You and I needed to connect yesterday, right?
Yeah.
We needed to connect yesterday afternoon. And you had a date with your hubby, and I had a date with my son, and we both were like, we can't talk, right?
We're not available, and we made the time to do it.
And that's the thing, is committing. I wanted that time with my son. You wanted that time, with your love, and we committed to that thing. And so there's a lot of fear of commitment. There's a lot of that intense experience in the body, and so it's connect with the body, gain awareness, understand where you want to be, start to get a sense of where you want to be, and that information will build up. And then that second word in there was balance, because sorry people, I don't create in order. I know I said body, balance, and intuition, and I'm actually going body, intuition, balance. But please get this in your head and share it with everybody. Are you ready? Everybody take a breath. Balance is not a static state. Oh my God, what did I just say? Balance is not a static state. Now I have a background in exercise science, right? I have a background in exercise science and the body. Balance is not a static state in your body. Right. Balance is not a static state in, think of the physical world, like chemistry and atoms and the way, if you don't have quite the right balance, what happens?
Yes.
Things explode.
Exactly.
Right? Balance is a constant state of movement. So if you want to talk to me about work-life balance, you first have to accept that it means a constant state of modulating, noticing, adjusting, and responding, and then doing that all over again. Yeah. That's why, to me, there's no separation. Because if I separate it out in this box and that box, how could I possibly, I'm going to get confused awareness-wise. I'm like, can I just focus on one thing, please? And I'm also going to do that disembodying thing again, where I try to disembody from different experiences and treat them as separate when they're not. So constant state of movement, everything's connected, and you got to start with that body-mind integration and let your mind open to a higher state of awareness and consciousness.
Yes, and with that, the image that always comes to mind that I use with my clients and folks is just the high wire. Right. We've got the high wire, and the guy on the high wire isn't just walking straight, going to go through it. There's this constant movement, this constant balance. And so that's where, and so I want to check in with our guests, and we're wrapping up here. The time goes so fast, doesn't it? And I love everything that you're sharing. It's affirmations, confirmations. Pauline says, when you're passionate, life is not work. It's life. Balance is being in the moment where you are. You betcha. And you gals both rock. Hey, Jeremy. Good to see you here, Jeremy. Thank you for stopping in. Yes, we do, Jeremy. And we've got some more work to do. Yes. And actually, it's play. So I look at life as, I remember years ago, my brother said something about, work is play. If you're not playing in your work, then you're not living your life. And so same with the personal life. I agree with that. And what an amazing balance to have you here today. And so with that, so Jennifer, how do we reach you? I think I've got some links here. We have to be able to find you. Tell me if we've got all these links correct here.
Yeah. So movestrongmethod.com is the website for the business. You can find me on Facebook at Coaching with Jen Matthews. So at Coaching with Jen Matthews. I'm on LinkedIn at Jennifer Matthews. And Instagram is at MoveStrongMethod.
Okay, terrific. Now, also, Jennifer, I will post the links, and if you don't see your links before I get there, please post them in the links. And lastly, if you would share, we have one more comment. So think about your secret sauce that you could share with the audience that they could take away today and practice today. And with that, let's see, Thomas McGoldrick says, great messages. Yes, right on. And hence, folks, this is why I have these amazing entrepreneurs who are succeeding in their life, who are thriving in their life. All of us went through some trauma, right? And all the folks who have been on this show, Candid Talks, every Tuesday at 9 a.m., are folks who have gone from trauma to thriving, who've embraced the fact that, yes, there was abuse and trauma, and now we get to look at it, we get to play with it, we get to see the movement in it, and how are we going to move it forward with us, because it's not going away. It'll be here forever. So how do we make it work for us to thrive? So with that, Jennifer, please offer your secret sauce to the audience.
Absolutely. So the way that you work with that to move towards thriving is that you work on that base, and you work on that base not as something that you do alone. And that base is the Eat, Sleep, Move, Connect. It's ESMC. So that graphic that Patty has put up a few times, and if you can pop it up, Patty, go for it. If not, it's okay. Yep, there it is. And I will, there I am. Okay, so that graphic is, if you like that graphic and some of that basic information, you can get it on the website at movestrongmethod.com. It's the big orange banner below the pretty seashell, and you can go ahead and get that, and it gives you like, how do I get started with this? But the secret sauce part is that we tend to think about doing just that piece. Well, I have to eat, I have to move, I have to sleep, right? And we get overwhelmed because there's 4 things in there. So while we're working on that, we're not moving towards some of these other things that we want to experience in our life. We think I have to get this set first, and then I can go over here and dream. And what I'm going to tell you is that's not true. You build the foundation while you're dreaming, and the foundation will create itself to put you at the point of being able to reach for what you're trying to aspire to. So it's not one and then the other. It's that state of balance we talked about, where you're doing the work, you're dreaming the work, and slowly but surely they do come together because they're already connected. Yes. So you're welcome to grab that freebie off the website, movestrongmethod.com. And the only other thing I wanted to say, if it's okay, Patty, is there's two pages that are very specific and give information about the groups that I work with, the specific groups of people I work with. Awesome. One is athletes and the other is parents. So it's real simple. It's movestrongmethod.com / like my finger's going to help you. You like that?
Movestrongmethod.com. Movement.
I can't not move. Okay, movestrongmethod.com / parents and movestrongmethod.com / athletes. And those 2 pages just give you the skinny. And on the homepage, you can download the tool that you need for that secret sauce. And thank you for letting me share it today, Pat.
All right, terrific. And thank you so much for joining us, Jennifer. And please wait for me in the studio.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. All right, folks, thank you for being with us today. And every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, I am Patty Maez, the Candid Coach. Remember to check out heartblazers.com for support and techniques to thrive in your life. Next week, we have my brain just went blank. Heinbuch is here next Tuesday. See you at 9 a.m. and talk to you then. Go out there, be the best that you are, and thrive. Talk to you soon.